Hello, everyone. Andrew Homer from Morphisec, and welcome to another Customer Corner episode where we talk with our customers, the IT and security leaders out there, about how they're formulating their strategic plans and navigating the cybersecurity landscape. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by Brian Wagner, who oversees security and implementation for Wilson County Schools, K through 12 school district in North Carolina. Consists of about 11,000 students and about 1,700 faculty staff. Hopefully, I got those numbers right, Brian. Welcome.
You did. Thank you, man. It's good to be here.
Great. So Brian, maybe we can kind of kick things off by a discussion that you and I had. One of the biggest challenges that you talked about is fending off ransomware attacks. Is really, the lack of resources, both budgetary and also the personnel, the skilled personnel that you have in cyber. And it's really not unlike many of your peers in the education space. So perhaps you can elaborate a little bit more about that, this resource constraint, and how you deal with all of that in terms of how it's impacted your security planning in light of these advanced attacks.
Sure. So ransomware seems to get all of the attention nowadays, as well it should. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be that our main concerns were just malware and virus that were affecting one or two machines. Now that ransomware has made its ugly face known to everybody, it's now a real threat. There are email or articles every day from districts, even in our state, that have been hit by these attacks. So that's one of the things that we are looking out for is the ransomware. Mm-hmm. This hit us kind of close to home a few years ago when we got hit by the Emotet.
Right.
While it wasn't extremely destructive for us, it did take out our 3 high schools for about a week and cost us quite a few dollars for remediation on that. Mm-hmm. So that started the ball rolling on, we think we need to do, well, I think we know we need to do something more so that this stays away from us. These type of issues stay away from us.
Right. So I suppose on the one hand, you have this sophisticated adversary, right? That your board's concerned about, invoking damage with ransomware and so forth. And then on the other side of the equation is really TCO and efficiency, a really important part of your consideration, how you're planning. And you talked about not having the team, the staff to manage the tool. So how do you evaluate those considerations between threat and TCO savings and cost?
So one of the things with the small group is not being able to go out and touch machines. Mm-hmm. Being able to set and forget is one of the best things that can do for our team for efficiency. Mm-hmm. We actually had to bring in a company to help us remediate. So we didn't have a big enough team to tackle that information. So the dollars that were spent on that gets noticed by the board. The publicity that ransomware gets in the world gets noticed by the board.
Sure.
So these questions trickle down to superintendent, trickles down to directors, trickles down to the engineers, myself included. Let's say, what are we doing about this? And that's where we've started this migration toward a better solution, a more encompassing solution that takes all our fears into account.
Got it. And so how did Morphisec help in this challenge, in this journey that you were trying to accomplish?
It was twofold. So one of the biggest things was we are paying for a Microsoft license. And with that, we are using Microsoft Defender. And we wanted something that was going to complement the license that we had and allow us to protect the machines further than we did with Defender, mm-hmm. which the ransomware are smart enough to work around some of the Defender safe
right
firewalls, how they're set up. And what we liked about Morphisec was the single pane of glass.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to look at Morphisec and our defenders through a single interface. And that really helps us to know where we need to focus attention. So, and with a small team, that's what we need. And then the installation for Morphisec was basically a no-brainer. We have SCCM, it's integrated with SCCM, wonderfully pushed it out to everybody, ready to go. And because it's not one of these that needs an update all the time, it was a set and forget for us.
Got it. And so, you actually drilled down on a couple of these points when we last spoke. One on the set it and forget it, right? The fact that these machines are remote, I think the combination of having the security essentials that are embedded within Windows 10 coupled with Morphisec, not needing to remote into these machines. And so maybe talk a little bit more about, elaborate a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so COVID really, I know it scared a lot of people for remote management, and you see all the articles that people taking these machines home and using them for their everyday shopping or just internet browsing.
Sure.
And they're getting corrupted on them. Viruses, malware, all these trying to take over these machines. So one of the nice things for us was knowing that Defender was going to the internet for its updates, mm-hmm. and Morphisec was a set and forget. I was pretty secure on letting all these machines go home and not really fear how they were going to handle the world.
Right. Well, that's interesting. Certainly that's an important component, particularly with all the other things that you're trying to deal with by way of remote learning. In fact, we just ran a survey. About 25% of enterprise companies out there, a survey across about 600 folks, are not following security policies. I'm talking like basic security hygiene policies. I imagine it's even a more daunting challenge when it comes to students and teachers in this space. And I'm sure that's also a bigger part of the struggles and challenges that you're dealing with right now.
It is, yes. It was some questions that were brought on early for wanting to get back to services that we hosted on site. So we decided that we would set VPN up for some of these people who needed to get on and access like our finance system.
Right.
So it's that because they were outside and they had access to the inside, we needed that security in place to say, yes, I'm going to allow you to get on to my system. And that's how we set that up. Cool.
So Brian, you certainly have taken this strategic plan, high awareness of advanced attacks and understanding what can impact your school system, and looking at security almost as an enabler, right? While at the same time looking to lower costs. And I think a lot of your peers in this space can learn a lot from you in this regard. So I suppose to close out these episodes, I usually like to wrap it up with a general summary question. If you could boil it down. What general strategic advice would you give, a peer leader in your space in the education sector about formulating their own cybersecurity strategy?
I think there's probably, you want to look and see what your needs are. And then you want to look and see what could be vulnerable for you. And like I said, the VPN was a need that we knew was out there, but we knew it was going to be a potential security hole. We also know that we were updating on our Windows machines with WSUS on site, but once everyone got off site, we weren't sure how we were going to get them updated. Right. So we actually had to have everyone bring their laptops back to campus. They could sit out in the parking lot and get a new policy so that they can update Windows. It's those vulnerabilities and that kind of assessment that needs to be done so that you can prepare for the future and for any potential attacks that may happen, or that you don't want to happen either.
Right. Well, great. Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate coming on and sharing some of your insights today, and happy that you're pleased with Morphisec and helping to accomplish your goals. For those interested in learning more about our customer conversations like this and the Morphisec's Customer Corner, please visit our website at morphisec.com, as well as our YouTube channel, Morphisec's YouTube channel. And once again, thanks, Brian, so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great to be here. Thank you.